Welcome to the New Rugged Order podcast, exclusively on the Hard Knock Digital Culture channel. Now give it up to your host, people, MM2K.
What's up, people? What's up, people? What is up, people? It is your boy, MM2K, back again with another episode of NRO Podcast. This is the podcast where we talk all things cloud gaming. Sorry. Mainstream gaming, I'm sorry. I've been chopping up some videos. I've been doing some mad production on some cloud gaming stuff. Speaking of cloud gaming, we on Twitch real quick. Jesus, things are looking, kind of interesting in regards to Amazon Luna. Keep an eye out on that. But man, oh man. Some crazy stuff going on in the mainstream gaming world, man. We're going to talk about it today. And we're hoping to have a lively chat as always, because I got some serious things to say. Today's topics include, the FTC and the Swedes. They done turned into Xbox's ops. Man, it's getting real shaky out here. They done turned to the ops. It's getting real funny out here for Xbox. Then we got God of War hitting 5 million. Across the street, we got God of War hitting 5 million and breaking records. God of War Ragnarok, that is, and I still going to play through that game here. Definitely by tomorrow. We apologize for last week's stream, but we're going to get into it tomorrow, definitely. That game is so popular. I've been chopping up, I'm getting to that. I've been chopping up content on that, and that's been our best content, period. It's like blowing out everything else. And then we got some PC gaming news as always, because there's a lot of hardcore gaming on the PC side. We got Steam breaking records. Steam breaking records as far as concurrent users, I believe it is. We're going to talk about it. We're going to go over the articles and stuff. We're going to talk about it. But first, let me do something that I haven't been doing. I've been negligent of doing the last few weeks. And that is letting you guys know what I've been playing. So I want to give a shout out to our good friends over at GeForce Now. That is the cloud streaming service for PC gaming. And look, I know everybody was like, oh, Stadia, this is not Stadia. Okay. Trust me, this is not Stadia. This is hardcore gaming. I think at its finest close to its finest, because the visuals are superb. You're talking about 4K 60 or 140, or 1440p at 120 frames per second, ultra settings. And I'm playing some of the biggest and baddest ass games on there. You know what I'm saying? Cyberpunk, what's that? Dark Tide, Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide. Those Warhammer games, the titles are so ridiculous. But yeah, I'm playing top of the notch, gory, badass games. And you don't need a powerful rig to do it. We got a couple of videos up on our YouTube channel. Go check us out on MM2K Game at MM2K Gaming over on YouTube to see what I'm talking about. I got some badass videos up there where we crank the fidelity up and we're recording it, man. And games just never looked as good. So we want to give a shout out to GFN for giving us a code for Warhammer Dark Tide. We've been playing that. Very interesting game. More user friendly than the other Warhammer games. I love the Warhammer games. I love them. I love the hordes and stuff and all that stuff that comes at you. It's not for the native console gamer that's more used to guardrails. I like creating my own fun. Just bring the enemies, make them smart, make them difficult. I like creating my own fun. And that's why I enjoy PC gaming as much as I do, as well as console gaming. But a lot of console gamers, they like the guardrails around, well, you know, you can go here and go there and go that, you know what I'm saying? And this game puts enough of those guard rules up to where it can be universally loved by the the console gaming world, but not hated by PC gaming, not watered down too much. So shout out to GFN for giving us that code. And I also got Crysis Remastered. I got the Crysis Remastered trilogy during the Black Friday sale. You can get all 3 games, all the Crysis Remastered games, for $37 on Steam. So I got all 3 of those, and I might get Evil West. I don't know. I might get Evil West, so we'll see. But that's what I've been playing. I haven't gotten to any Division 2, any more Outriders, any more Cyberpunk recently. But I'm gonna do it definitely this week, along with getting into God of War. All right. With that said, I babbled enough. That was my gaming week. Let's talk about what's going on in today's gaming news. First and foremost, let me see here. Do I have, let me see if I have this up. No, I don't think I have that up, and that's okay. We're going to start off by talking about, Lord Jesus, loaded Lord. Let's start off by talking about Xbox. If you guys haven't heard, Xbox has run into some issues. Let me see if I can share this out. Hold on one second. Give me a second. Let's see something. Cheer to be lifted, whatever. Oh, hold on one moment. Give me one moment, y'all. We're going to share this out. Let everybody know that we're live. Let's see. Where is... Yeah, Twitch took away your ability to stream live. I don't know why they did that. Okay, so something weird is going on. And my live notification... Oh, Lord Jesus, help us. My live notification on Twitter didn't go out. Let's check it out. Let's see what the hell's going on. I want to tweet. Unsent tweets. Scheduled. Hey. Why is this? This should have went out. Okay. So let's do this. Let's get rid of this. Oh, it was set for this. Oh my God. All right. Let's set this out right now. What time is it? We'll do it for 12:15. Update. It's going to go out in like 3 minutes. What else? Jesus Christ. Did we do that? Did we do the same thing on PNTS Network? Let's go check and see. I hate that Twitch tries to send everything out 5 days in advance. I think that's so stupid. And now I can't even. Let's go check our. Let's check our profile. Okay. Let me do this. You gotta excuse me. All right, we're gonna go to PNTS. Okay, let's go to PNTS Network. Let's go to their tweet. And that is live. Oh, I forgot. I gotta go to Mastodon too. We gotta let the good folks know at Mastodon too. Okay, so let's retweet this. And let's also, I keep forgetting about Mastodon. A lot of the cloud gamers are now over there on Mastodon or on Hive. I can dig it. I can dig it. You know, we don't even get into the political stuff. We're just here for gaming, man. Y'all don't want to know my political views. I'd make everybody mad. Y'all do not want to know my political views. Everybody would be pissed off. Everybody. All right, let's go here to Discord. Let's put that up there on Discord. Make sure that everybody is aware. Hold on. NTS Network. Let me see. Uh-oh. What's going on here? Contributor content. That we don't have it. At everyone, look at that. That's not even here. Then now, there we go. All right, and let's go to our homies over at Broadband Bully so they can know that we're live. Let's do that. And then let's go up here to our new server, our new PNTS server. Do they know we're live up here? Let's go to the Omega. Let's see here. PNTS. Oh, Twitch videos. Uh-oh, what's going on? Oh, it's not showing. I never knew that. We gotta talk to our technicians here, because our technicians don't even have our video showing everywhere. Send. There we go. All right, we good to go. Now that we got all that situated. Okay, good. Now we're ready to have a show. Cold Blood Sensei in the house. Vet Cloud Gaming in the house. Good to see you, my good brothers. Thank you for coming through as always. For some reason, I can't show your, there we go. Yo. Hold on, that's not, I can't show your comments. It's not showing any of your comments. Hopefully that'll change in a little bit. Feature chat dashboard. Nothing's working today. It's Monday. All the technical stuff said, forget it. We're still taking the holiday off. All right, whatever. My host view. And it's not showing any comments right now. Okay, can you take me back to the dashboard, please? Jesus Christ. All right. So with that being said, let's get into today's first topic, which is Microsoft. So Microsoft is having a grand old time, right? Trying to get everybody to go along with this ABK deal. And when you feel their swag, when you listen to their rhetoric as of late, particularly when they were talking to Wall Street Journal, talking to Wired and other places, that swag is gone. That swag that made it seem like that it was inevitable, that this ABK deal was going and all that confidence. Like, it looks like they're in the middle of a serious pivot because they've realized that Game Pass is failing. I'm not going to say it's a failure yet, but it's failing. As someone who has been in the Fortune 500 world for over 25 years, I'm not going to candy coat anything for anybody. Shout out to my brother Papa Bear Gaming, who is now following us. Thank you, brother, for your support. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for anybody. When in back-to-back periods, you miss your projections, that is a failing proposition for the service or product that you're putting forward. Something is failing. Okay? There's no way around it. And it's different where if it's an established service that normally does good and it's just having back-to-back bad seasons, it still means that attention, all hands on deck, attention needs to be made. You know what I'm saying? To whatever is ailing the service or the product. But normally it works. Normally it has consistent revenue growth. Normally its trajectory is in the right area, so it's not that bad, even though it does require all hands on deck. Game Pass has been in question in regards to its sustainability, its profitability, all that stuff, how it works since day one. This is an experiment. This is a new proposal. And I know it's the largest of its kind out there as far as market share is concerned, but nobody else is pushing their game subscription service like how Microsoft is. Microsoft is putting a lot of money into this. And there were little sniffles, little signs that maybe some things were not going as planned when last year Microsoft tried to force everyone to leave Xbox Live Gold by raising the price substantially. And tried to get those people on Game Pass. When that happened, we knew something was awry, because that was a bold move. And for those of you that don't realize it or don't know the numbers, Xbox Live Gold, the service with the crappy games in it, is more profitable. It's way more. It's not even a question. It's a way bigger chunk of the pie than Game Pass. And what Xbox wanted to do is they wanted to flip that. Game Pass was going to be its main vehicle to 3 million gamers. It's going to be its main vehicle. All the rhetoric and all the talk, all the shows, like, you can't tell me. And I was having some great discussions with a lot of my cloud friends, but a lot of my cloud friends are newer to this. So there may be some avenues here and some things revolving this that they're not aware of. The last half a dozen of Xbox shows have been Game Pass commercials. You don't put that much into a service that's only an option. You don't cater your advertisement around a service that's only going to represent 15% of your revenue, or if you only just miscalculated by under 10 million. I told everybody in 2018, Xbox wants this thing at least 60 million. Their hope is that it gets to 60 to 80 million subscribers and they build up from there. Because the way that Xbox is looking at it is they said, look, our most successful generation is when we had 80 million 360s in the home. That's the most success that we saw. How about we get there, but we get there without there being 80 million Xboxes in there, but at least 80 million subscribers of Game Pass, and that's where we're going to start. So that's why all this money that they plugged into the service, it was justifiable, because they wanted to get to 60 or between 60 to 80 million and jump up from there. All the activity, all the numbers show that. So when you're at half of that or less, you got to expect some things are going to change if this stays the way that it is. Xbox Game Pass is not going to look the same if it only ends up being 15% of the service. I mean, of the revenue. Expect prices to go up in an uncomfortable fashion. Expect content to degrade in an uncomfortable fashion. Now, when I say content degrade, that means expect not to have so many Outriders or MLBs or, those big ticket games like, Lies of P. Don't expect to have them drop day and date that much anymore. And I'm saying this, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this, don't expect every single Xbox game to be in their day and date. If the subscription service makes up only 15% of the revenue, you cannot justify putting games that are going to be 500 million to make and more, like a Halo, day one in Game Pass. Because it's having an effect. It's having a long-term effect. When you're looking at the games, the multi-plat games that are selling the best on platforms. It's like PlayStation is getting 70% of that, and the other 30% are Xbox. And that's because Xbox gamers are waiting for it, to go on the Game Pass. A lot of the Xbox gamers are waiting for it to go on the Game Pass. With exception to the big ticket games, the Call of Duties, the Fortnites or whatever, because those people want those games day and date. But the other Xbox owners that maybe have an Xbox Series S, that have an Xbox as a secondary device, they've got it to try out Xbox games via Game Pass because it is a deal. And then there's other games on there that they're just like, we're going to, if I have nowhere else to play it, I'm going to just wait for it to come to Game Pass. So you can't have that dynamic continue if you're making $500 million games. The math just doesn't add up. Even at 30 million, it's rumored that they're like at 29.5 million or something like that. Sony threw out that number. Xbox said, no, we're at 26 million. Everybody's trying to lowball themselves and over exaggerate the competition because of this ABK deal. You know what I'm saying? We'll say for sake of argument, they're around 30 million. I believe that they're around 30 million. Even at 30 million, it does not justify putting and games are going to get more expensive to make. They're not getting cheaper. So I dare to even say that Game Pass won't look the same. Don't expect Starfield 2 to be day and day. It's just not sustainable. Now, what you can expect is if you have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which includes the cloud, 2 or 3 years from now, as Xbox finds a way to either get all of their games on there via the cloud, which I know they're going to do individually, a la carte. They're going to do that. And if they can find a way to get multi-platform games on there, I think what you can expect is day and date. You can play Starfield 2 on the cloud, a la carte, but for it to be in Game Pass day and date at 15% of the revenue, that's not going to stick. We gotta have a coming to Jesus moment. We gotta wake up. We gotta stop falling for the limbo shirts and the nice smiley face that Phil Spencer presents, and we gotta get down to the raw numbers. It's just not sustainable. Right? And the fact of the matter is that, before I go any further, let's talk about these issues that are happening with Xbox this week over this ABK deal. You know how we do. Oops. Gotta get rid of that damn graphic. That graphic is so horrible. All right. So this is me gloating because a lot of people want to say, well, M2K, you're the guy that said Stadia was going to be here forever. So you don't know what you're talking about as far as games. And look, I can get that. If you want to persecute me for believing that Google would operate like a semi-normal company, knowing that they got to get their cloud product on par with their competition, knowing that they had a product that had something that was that couldn't be replicated anywhere else besides Amazon, with the YouTube streaming and Amazon's Twitch streaming, and that right there was game over to reaching the 3 billion gamers. As long as you kept working to get the games, you got to grind it out. Excuse me for someone having all that access at their hands and expecting them to do the common sense thing. But it's Google. All right, fine. But everything else in regards to Stadia, their momentum or whatever, we got right on the nose. We predicted pretty much everything all the way up to Cyberpunk 2077 is coming day and date when other people said it wasn't. So if you want to nail me to the cross for that, do that to your own detriment. Everything that I've said about Xbox since 2017 has come to fruition. everything. I said, Crackdown is going to cause a rift with the Xbox community that we haven't seen in a while, and it did. You've seen a lot of people defect from Xbox and go to PlayStation and never look back, because there was so much promise with Crackdown, and that was just the straw that broke the camel's back for a lot of people. I said expect Xbox to make some major acquisitions to keep the service honest, because they themselves are having a difficult time creating great games. So expect them to do something. Now, we had made some guesses that maybe that acquisition would be like to the likes of EA and Take-Two. It ended up being Bethesda and now what's it called? But we knew that they were going to make some big acquisitions. When gamers thought that the Xbox Series S was going to be enough to give Xbox the victory over PlayStation earlier on this generation, we told people things could get tight, but it's not. It's going to be even worse, and in a lot of ways it is. Like, especially now that the only thing that helped Xbox was the supply is down. Now that the supply is back up, it's getting even worse. And we said that Microsoft's problem was that they were a jack of many trades, but not a master of any. Yes, they have the most successful game subscription service, but look at how much money they're putting into it to get there. And guess where they're at? Only 15%. They're putting way more money in Game Pass than they are Xbox Live Gold, and they're getting way more for their buck. And Xbox Live Gold, with all Xbox Live Gold shitty games, why? Because the way that Game Pass is designed today, it's designed in a way that it needs an infusion from casual gamers in order to grow, but it's only appealing to hardcore gamers. Meaning, this is why a lot of my cloud gaming friends are confused and they don't understand what I'm talking about. And then when I show them the numbers, they just have syntax errors. Well. They think it's just a matter of time. Things are just moving slow. No. Casual gamers that make up the overarching majority of the market do not want to play a bunch of games. They just simply don't. This has already been settled. There are one or two, maybe three games that the casual gamer is interested in when it comes to a platform. And those are the 2-3 games or franchises they're going to stick to. There might be something new, groundbreaking, that pops from the underbelly of the hardcore brass that might make them go, okay. Let me try that. Examples are God of War, Spider-Man, Skyrim, right? Atypically hardcore gamer games that were so successful they crept into the casual gaming world. There are those exceptions, but normally you do not captivate casual gamers with a whole bunch of games. They don't care about them. They want Fortnite, Call of Duty, Madden, FIFA. So you got to start from somewhere. Because I know a lot of people are like, well, MM2K, don't focus too much on the console side of things. You got to look at mobile. But if you're already entrenched and the console side, and you can't get out of last place there, how much confidence do I have that you can succeed elsewhere? You ain't gonna succeed just because you're there. You gotta have something to springboard from. I can't guarantee that Microsoft will be successful in the mobile arena if they can't even be successful in the arena that they've been at for the last 20 years, except for once. So I'm not here to sugarcoat anything, because Phil has a very likable demeanor or presence to him. Everything that we've predicted about this platform has come to fruition. Now we're here. Let's talk about item number one. Sean in the house, good to see you, my good brother. I wish I could put you guys' chats up here, but for some reason, your chats are not showing. Oh, there you go. All right. So we got Cold Blood Sensei in the house, who says, Happy Luna is dead celebration day. I'm not. Number one, I don't know if it's dead or if it's just, scaling back. Like this is a big tech tornado that's heading through these sectors. And they could just be saying, like, we're not going to spend the money to license these games anymore, especially if people aren't playing them. And this is where, again, my hardcore gamers have to realize it's bigger than us. Like I don't know. I mean, I know I scream into my pop filter and it gets all gunky and gooey and gross, but I'm not doing it for my health. I'm trying to penetrate your craniums here with this information. Stop thinking the way that you game is the way that the average gamer games. So Amazon Luna could have a whole bunch of high profile games in its library that they're paying a lot of money for that nobody's playing. So if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, right? So guess what? Those games got to go. Now that could be the first step of a possible many, but right now I just see it as Amazon. This is Amazon's way of cutting back. They've let some people go, and they also looked at maybe some of these games that they're licensing that are not performing as well as they need to be performing, and they're cutting back. Now let's see what they do after that. But I don't think it's an immediate threat right now. Those are just my thoughts. But yeah, we can't sit there and say, oh, these are the best games and they're leaving, and oh, that's a problem. No, if people aren't playing those games and those games are sucking up a lot of money, you can imagine these publishers are probably asking for a lot of money for those games to sit there, and people aren't playing them. Then I get they bolster the lineup, but people are like, I don't want nothing to do with it anymore. This is, we can be fans of stuff, but why celebrate something's possible? Oh, because he's a troll, Sean. Cold Blood is a troll. He said, I ain't gaming on time limit. Laugh out loud. There's no time limit to Luna. Luna doesn't have any time. That's GFN that has a time limit. And I keep forgetting about that because I'm on the 3080 tier. Now I haven't gamed 8 hours yet, but we'll see when I get to the point to where I like hit that 8 hour mark, and it's like, oh, your time is winding down. I'm like, oh, what the? But I haven't been there yet. I haven't had an 8 hour gaming binge since Destiny 1. I think the closest I've gotten is 6. And I think you only get 6 on the priority tier. So that's another reason why. Yeah, I've hit 6 a couple of times. when my wife is going out and spent the money, but now we're trying to save money, so she ain't out shopping as much, and she ain't going as much as she needs to be. As much as I need her as to be, she ain't as going. Like all last week, she was sick. She couldn't go back to work, and it showed in the content that we put out. I mean, I think we put a lot of content out last week, but it wasn't on the schedule that we wanted it to be because I had to run her back and forth to the hospital. But that being said, yeah, man. Gamers don't game the way that we, the hardcore, game. So to me, it's just Luna purging its library of its more costly items, and we'll see where it goes from there. I wonder if as long as Kingdom of Amalur and all those other games still come, then I'm Gucci with it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So, but shout out to our chat as usual. So here, let me get into this. I said, when it rains, it pours. I told y'all dealing with EU regulatories was going to be a tricky situation for a deal this big, thus having influence on regulatory bodies in the States if things started going left. What do I mean by that? I know that's a lot of what we call banker babble, but where I come from, even though our company is based in the United States, Fortune 500 company, we have to pay closer attention to the EU laws. They are so complex, they are so layered, and it's like a pitfall. Like they're trying to trap people to fail. It sets you up to fail as a business. I hate to say it. I mean, like a lot of it is induced by trying to protect consumers. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes there's just there's shit that they throw in there to set you up to fail. If you're a big time business, you're going to fuck up. Excuse my French. You're going to F up, and you're going to owe EU some money, period. That's the way the regulations are set up. And it's been like that for a while. It's been like that, I want to say, since 2010, maybe a little bit before then. So it's been like that for a while. So what I'm basically saying there is that once it got to the EU, and this was a big deal, first of its existence as far as the gaming world is concerned, that I knew there was going to be a problem. And depending upon how Microsoft responded to the regulatory bodies was going to determine the outcome. And I remember having this conversation with a good friend of mine who is very close to Xbox. And I told him behind the scenes, I said, if you have any influence to the big man over there, tell them to chill. All this grandstanding, trying to see, this is where they fucked up, and they didn't understand the EU. I got mad respect for the EU regulators because I know how sensitive they can be. The last thing you want to do to EU regulatories is call them out on their shit publicly. That's the last thing you want to do. When you're dealing with the EU, just address the points and explain why the points may be misunderstood. Now, if you want to attack PlayStation, that's different. But when they started saying condescending things about the CMA and trying to antagonize the community to attack the CMA, that's where they fucked up. And they realized it because then you started seeing a change in tone from Phil Spencer and company when they were like, oh, we get it. What the CMA is doing makes sense. Somebody told them, somebody pulled them to the side and say, I don't know what y'all do over there, but over here, y'all gonna respect us. Y'all done fucked it and hit them with the bill due. You done fucked up, right? You done. So hit them with the bill due from Minister Society, and then Microsoft changed their stuff, but it was too late. You Don't insult the EU regulatories. You don't do it. So that's what I'm referring to there. Now we got Swedish companies are suggesting nefarious deeds. And this is coming from GoW, who is not a down the middle source, to say the least. But this article, I think, is fair. He put it out here. Shout out to my brother GoW. And it says that, what did I get here? There was an article that said that that Swedish companies were coming after. It's an article that says that new threat to game industry's biggest deal. Swedish companies accuse Bobby Kotick and Phil Spencer of collusion and has sued Microsoft and Activision Blizzard. So the accusation is that Microsoft tried to shield Bobby Kotick and Activision from all the impending lawsuits from the stuff that they were doing with employees by bringing in their good boy persona, and they were colluding with them. Now, this is crazy, insane in a lot of ways, and it doesn't directly affect the deal. This isn't part of the regulatory exercise with the deal, but it could have some leakage. It could have leakage. Could spill over. The Swedes are talking to the EU. The EU is talking to the Swedes because they want to get more information, likely. Well, where did you guys come? This is how this stuff works. And I apologize to those of you who are not familiar with this. This has never been explained to you. But this is why we always talked, the 5 years that we've been doing this, we've always talked about understanding the business side of gaming, because that's why decisions are made that make you scratch your head. I guarantee you that the EU and the CMA done contacted the Swedes and said, well, hold on. Why are you guys saying this? What information do you have that drew you to this conclusion? Because this was a Swedish-owned company that started this lawsuit. So they're getting information from them. Now, the information that they're getting from them may not be the silver bullet, but it just might be driblets enough to help secure their emphasis on this deal not being consumer friendly in their eyes. Do you understand what I'm saying here? These entities talk to each other. So even though this does not have a direct effect on the CMA regulatory stuff, there's going to be communication. And if there's anything that can be derived from why this lawsuit was brought up, it's going to be used with the CMA. So this is not good. This is not good for the whole situation. It's not. But we get to something else here. And this is where I remember people laughing at me when I brought this up. And I said, I'm still for transparency sake, with all this yelling and screaming that I'm doing and this finger wagging that I'm doing at Microsoft, I still believe that the deal could go through. I'm 60% in favor of the deal going through. When I say in favor, I don't mean I want it to go through. I mean, the business side of me is like 60, just still has a 60% chance of going through. It will change though if this FTC thing is true and not a rumor. There's a rumor that the FTC is looking to sue in regards to this deal. If that's the case, then that just changes the numbers. It's no longer 60-40, I'll tell you that. But right now, it's still 60-40. And I said, remember this video where I told gamers that the proposed ABK buyout could be hamstrung per the cloud gaming component, and some of you waved it off? Well, bon appetit. Bloomberg is now reporting that, again, this rumored FTC lawsuit, the officials are concerned about the impact on cloud gaming. something. So it sounds like that the FTC and other regulatory bodies, including CMA and whoever else is in EU, have done their homework. And see, this is what people don't understand. These regulatory bodies have aides and stuff like that go. I used to be an aide. I used to be an aide at a local level when I was real young. So these politicians, they're dumb as a doorknob. All they do is smile, make sure their hair is, and their teeth are nice and shiny. Hair is in a fantastic setting. It's talking a lot of jibber jabber. Their aides do most. I was an aide. I was an aide as like through this program, this moot court competition program, where they wanted us to get closer to local legislators and stuff like that. So I worked as an aide for a little bit, just like for a few months. And the aides really go out there and they do the research. So, and the aides are usually young. So you can believe that 85-year-old Senator Bombast doesn't know shit about what's going on with Xbox and PlayStation and this ABK deal. But his aide, little Bobby Schmurder Jr., knows all about it. So that's who's doing the research. They're coming back with all this information and they're educating these legislators on it. And these different little regulatory groups on it. So it sounds like to me that the FTC and whoever they have doing their research did their homework and discovered that a huge component of why Xbox bought this wasn't to hold it off PC. I mean, to hold it off of PlayStation and Nintendo. In the long-term scheme of things, PlayStation and Nintendo is small potatoes to Xbox if their plans go on as scheduled. Because Xbox wants to be the main deliverer of games everywhere. So if that plan goes off as scheduled, PlayStation and Nintendo are small fries. Of course they'll let all these games be on PlayStation and Nintendo. They don't care. Their concerns were the Amazons and the prior Googles and everybody else that was getting into the cloud space. This is why I tell you guys that have these rose-colored eye lenses towards what Xbox is doing, even though they stopped Game Pass at saying it's going to reach 15% maximum, and now they've backed away from the cloud. Oh, it's only an option when you're away from your console. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You don't center all of your advertisement around Game Pass and talk all this stuff about cloud gaming for it to be as little as it is. It's just that you went forward with a plan and it's not working. It is not going to work because you want it to, because you blink it and force it to work. So with that being said, you now have a situation where this ABK deal was very, very, very connected to who Xbox and Phil Spencer himself proclaimed who he was losing sleep over. He was losing sleep over Amazon and Google. Was he losing sleep over Amazon and Google creating a console? No. Was he losing sleep over Amazon and Google being on PC? No. Was he losing sleep over Amazon and Google being on mobile where Google's already on mobile? No. He was losing sleep over Amazon and Google bringing any style of game, mobile, AAA, AA, whatever, via the cloud everywhere. That was the main driver, the main delivery system that was supposed to propel platforms to the 3 million gamers or 3 billion gamers. It wasn't so much mobile. It wasn't so much PC. It was cloud gaming, because cloud gaming was the only platform that had a CAGR growth rate of 50%. Now it's dropped down to 31%, but that's still double the CAGR of mobile gaming, which we know mobile gaming is huge. So if it maintains that CAGR in X amount of time, cloud gaming would be bigger than mobile gaming if it continues that rate of growth. So it wasn't like cloud gaming was always this small figment in their minds as far as these delivery systems that were going to propel them in the future. The main delivery system for Xbox that was going to propel them to the 3 billion gamers was cloud gaming. We can debate whether that's true or not. That's another debate. In their minds, that was the main propellant. So because of that, that's why Phil Spencer said, you gotta stop having this short-term memory. We're gonna get you right here. That's why Phil Spencer sat in those interviews and said, I'm losing sleep over Amazon and Google. What were Amazon and Google doing at the time? Entering cloud gaming. So now you have these regulatories with their aides that did their research, and they saw this ABK deal about keeping Call of Duty off of consoles. Microsoft on that. They signed a deal to keep Call of Duty on the console for 30,000 years. If they could, if it made sense. They don't give a shit about consoles. They want to make sure that these games, the main proprietors, the only proprietors, of these games in the cloud is them. I didn't write this. Look at your screens. Look at it. Antitrust officials are concerned about impact on cloud gaming. Y'all got to learn how to separate the forest from the trees and stop looking at the first 5 minutes of now. Okay, I thought Google was going to, again, act like a semi-sane company and grind it out like everyone else. And they decided not to. They sold to the highest bidder. I'm going to leave that alone for now. You guys are going to see who the highest bidders are. And if these deals come to fruition, it's going to change the landscape of cloud gaming and everything for everybody. And it's going to make it worse for Microsoft. I'll just leave it at that. However, everything that we've told you on our platforms, HNDC, the medicine, and so forth, about how things would pan out if they went in a certain direction, we've been right about. And we told you here, and probably only, I won't say only. Shout out to my brother, Virtual Cloud Gaming, who picked up the story as well. We told you here that if somebody got themselves involved in understanding the cloud gaming side, it was going to become a major component and a major thorn in the side of Microsoft. It's one thing to have EU wagging their finger at you. They do that with everybody. That's why I still said it was 60-40 in favor of Microsoft. But now that the FTC is getting involved, potentially, if that is true, that changes everything. Now, am I saying that Microsoft is dead or it's going to die? No. But what we have to realize and not look at rosy-eyed glasses with is that this does bring the platform into a critical impasse, or it gets it closer. Let me not be too hyperbolic here. It gets Xbox closer to a critical impasse regarding its long-term strategy. And only two things can save it. Those two things are a stellar 2022 I mean, a stellar 2022 is over. A stellar 2023 and 2024. If they have 2 great years, then that tells everybody that, hey, Game Pass is going to have some kick-ass games day and date. Maybe we should. Like if Starfield gets anywhere close to the Skyrim level of excitement, then yeah, the Game Pass starts to exceed, or it has the potential to exceed that 50%. It's going to take more than one game to do that. But if Starfield really has a big push and starts seeing what's it called, levels of excitement, then yeah, you're gonna definitely see. Hold on, I hold on for 1 second, folks. My deepest apologies. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, guys. We're going to take a 7-minute intermission. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. 7 minutes. I forgot I got some very important packages coming, and they were like beating my door down. So, and I got a sign for these. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that, folks. Some stuff from my wife, and if I did not sign for those packages, I wouldn't be here on this planet anymore. So, all right. So before I continue on, let's go to our comments. Let's see what you guys are saying out here in the chat. Sean, the homie Sean says. He says, look, back in the day with Sega Genesis as part of your cable package, you could get the Sega channel. It came with a cartridge that you put into the Genesis. It was game pad. Yeah, it was. Absolutely. Yeah, they were pioneers with that, man. It's just, it didn't grow because, I think the concept back then just didn't. There weren't a whole bunch of games on there that people wanted to play. That was for hardcore. Again, that's why Game Pass was the same thing. If you're a hardcore gamer and you just want to play anything, then great. But if you're a gamer that has like specific games that you want to play, then them games got to hit that service. If those games aren't hitting that service, then it doesn't mean anything to you. We got to get out of this belief that and we talked about Starfield. It sees that Starfield is trending. The problem is that game services like this are predicated it on the belief system that the average gamer wants to play a whole bunch of games. But it's not, that's not the case. You know what I mean? So I'm just looking at what's it called, trending. It says here, Paris. Here, let's show you what I'm looking at. Oh, this is the wrong. I gotta get rid of that. So Paris says, my excitement and anticipation for Starfield, ambitious new IP, a Todd Howard-led RPG, seemingly getting the time needed to be polished product day one. We could judge the game for what it is at launch in 2023, but until then, it's one of my most anticipated. Because I guess he's responding to, not trying to sound like a hater, but I generally don't get the massive appeal that's for Starfield, considering it's from Bethesda. Looking at their recent resume, I won't think twice about putting them in my top 3, let alone above Zelda. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. As someone who is known to have been a Bethesda fanboy and someone who has defended Fallout, I felt like Fallout 76 was getting a bad rap. Yes, I did. I was that guy. I felt like that it wasn't, it wasn't the greatest game, but it wasn't as bad as everybody else was trying to make it seem. It was the pile-on method. I thought the game was, at best, maybe a high 70s game at launch. At worst, a low 70s game. It wasn't a 50 as people were making it seem. It was just the whole pile-on thing that was happening. And I think that, and I defended it, but with all that said, I do agree that games coming out of Bethesda as of late have not been that great. Opposite of Doom, and I did like Wolfenstein Youngblood. I did like that, and it's been a while since they've really put anything out. Okay, well, no. They put out Deathloop. And I think Deathloop was pretty good. But see, I don't like Arcane Studios. And I think Deathloop was real good. But I don't like Arcane Studios. The only reason why I think Deathloop was good. And again, I'm like, oh, you're just trying to be a PlayStation fan. No, they accredited the nuanced things that they've done in Deathloop to working with PlayStation. Because all their other games were just dreary, sneak and crouch games and sneak and do this, and you know what I mean? And if you tried to go, if you try to go shoot them up, blast them up, you were heavily destroyed. In Deathloop, if you decide to go shoot them up, I mean, you of course, if you're more methodical, the easier it can be. But if you decide to go shoot them up, blast them up, it's not the end of the world. It's going to be tough, but it's not the end of the world. And their old games weren't like that. And that's from, I think, PlayStation coming in there and saying, you guys might want to tweak this a little bit. Like, this is why I think you guys may not have the broad appeal that you could potentially have. Tweak this a little bit. Don't make it so damn, we got you. If people want to go, shoot them up, let them do it. Let them do it. With the caveat being it's going to be tougher, but don't let it be the end of the world. And because of that, they came out. I think they created a great game. I think Deathloop is a fantastic game. So, yeah, I'm not as confident. And then when I heard that 4K 30 thing from Todd Howard, my eyes rolled in the back of my head. So we'll see. Starfield has I think, but if anybody could create a game that's going to blow minds, it is Todd Howard. If anybody, I'm not saying he's, it's a guarantee, but I'll say that if anybody could do it, it is Todd Howard. So we'll see. Let's go back from that though. What else here? We got Game Pass. Cold Blood Sensei says Game Pass effect Plague Tale didn't chart at all. Yeah, I think that, yeah. Well, did it chart? Hold on. I don't know. Plague Tale charted. It probably didn't chart in the EU. Let me see. NPD. What was it? October 2022. Oh, they got the data here already. Oh, that's awesome. Let's take a look. Oh, shoot. Okay, NPD. I ain't seen this. Hold on. Who is this? Okay, NPD. Now they got individual pages for their best-selling games and stuff like that for the month. All right. So, no, when did Plague Tale come out? Plague Tale came out in November. So it says top selling games November. Oh, see, I don't know how to go back. This is top 10 selling games, retail and digital, October. We need the top. Oh, okay, here we go. There's more. Year to date. The top 10 selling games. They usually do top 20. But when did Plague Tale come out? That's odd. Okay, here we go. October NPD. When did Plague Tale come out? I know Plague Tale. I thought I saw Plague Tale chart somewhere. When did Plague Tale Requiem come out? October 18th. Holy shit. What? Ain't that something? Wow. Oh shit. I might Cold Blood Sensei. I might have to gift you another month, brother. You might make me change the title of this whole shebang. Wow. Plague Tale Requiem never even charted. Yeah, that Game Pass effect. Because here's what I surmise is happening. I surmise that a lot of people, even people that have PlayStations, they have Series S's. They have Series S's because they want to play games on Game Pass, or they want to try games on Game Pass. And when they try it on Game Pass, they're just like, okay, well, whatever. But when you try a game on a subscription service, you put less into it because it's just there. You understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Because it's just there. Opposed to when you buy a game, or when you buy a game, you hey, look, you done put $100 on it or 70, whatever. You gonna play that game. And Plague Tale Requiem, as well as it could have, as much money as they could have gotten from Microsoft, that does not substitute the fact that they need sales on other consoles. Like, that's just Microsoft. They need sales on other platforms. Wow. That is the Game Pass. I hate to say it, and I never thought I would say this, because I don't think the problem with Game Pass is the fact that it's a subscription. I love subscription services like Ubisoft Plus. Now, I know Cold Blood would reckon with me on that, but I think Ubisoft Plus is a hell of a service, and I think that there's a lot of quality games in there. I know you're not the biggest Ubisoft fan, Cold Blood, but that being said, that's because there's a level of quality that's associated to their games. But it sounds like that when you put a game in Game Pass, it kind of like cheapens the excitement for it. And so people don't go after it as much. Because even if, like, because look, here's the deal. Let's be totally frank here. There are not as many Xboxes out there as there are PlayStations. There just isn't. Like, if we want to do this, which I know they've gotten better in their predictive, configuration. But let's take a look at VG charts. I still don't go off of VG charts. I know a lot of Xbox gamers were going off of VG charts just because, but let's do this. So the simple fact of the matter is that there aren't as many PlayStations. I mean, there aren't as many Xboxes as there are PlayStations out there. Okay. There just isn't. Number one, PlayStation is outselling the Xbox this generation. Last generation, look at it. Look at last generation, right? So Game Pass isn't available everywhere. I mean, you're talking about one platform that has over 140 million installs, opposed to another one that has half of that, 70 million installs. So even though Game Pass is available on 70 million installs, that's a third of the total install base available for console gaming or hardcore console gaming. Well, no. I mean, to be fair, let's add the Wii U and let's add the Switch in there. So we have 140 plus 70, that's 210 million. And so there's 326 million consoles out there. We know that. They always talk about there's 300 million, this, that, and the other, right? Out of the 320 million consoles out there, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not even showing you guys the web. If I can get rid of this damn, Jesus Christ. Come on, VG charts. It can't be that bad. Out of the 326 million consoles out there, when you add up last gen and this gen, Game Pass is only available on 70 million of those. So that's not even a third. Let's do the math. This is where I'm starting to see, and I didn't like the argument before, the Game Pass effect, but now I'm starting to see it. 70 million divided by 326. That's 21%. 21%. And now it makes sense why, when you see these games sales and you say, well, how many is on PlayStation opposed to Xbox? PlayStation represents 70% of the sales. Because even if out of that 70 million, every single person had Game Pass, which we know they don't, only half of them. There's a 70 million saturation. No, there's more than that because you got to add in PC, but we'll just add it. We'll just focus it on console. Makes it even worse. On the console side, there's 70 million potential Game Pass consumers, and not even half of only the console people have Game Pass. But yet, what Game Pass is doing is it's making gamers that have an Xbox console and can access Game Pass, it's making them say, well, I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to try it. I don't really care. Or the fact that it's in a subscription service, they're not, being that it's there, it's just there. And it's like, okay, maybe I'll try it some other time. Who cares? So there is a Game Pass effect. Why? I didn't think that Plague Tale Requiem, if you are nominated, if you're a AAA game, or even a AA game, and you're nominated for Game of the Year, something is wrong if you don't chart NPD at all. Holy shit. Something's fucking wrong. Oh my God, my mind's blown. Like, I don't even want to do the rest of the fucking show anymore. Holy shit. My mind is blown. Yeah, doggy. Yeah, I'm proclaiming. Yeah, wow. If you are nominated for Game of the Year and you don't chart on the biggest chart in relation to console gaming, something is wrong. Something is wrong with the purchasing practices that are happening in gaming. And no wonder why shit is falling. Like, they want to blame, it's because, it's crescending from what do you call it? It's crescending from the whole pandemic. No! These games, like, now I can see it. If these games were never in Game Pass, would they have done better? Like, if what's it called was never in Game Pass, if Plague Tale was never in Game Pass, it definitely would have sold better. Holy cow! I'm stunned. I'm stunned. But the show must go on. Holy cow! Damn you, Cold Blood! You weren't supposed to show us that. Back to Microsoft. Holy shit! Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So am I saying that Microsoft is doomed? Am I saying that Microsoft isn't? No, Microsoft is still making money. They still got the multiplats. They're still selling Fortnite. They're still making money. They're still doing financially well. Okay. And they're doing better than they ever have done financially. I'm not saying that, but that's now. I'm talking about their long-term strategy. They have structured their gaming around Game Pass. Yes, have they bought studios? Yes, they bought a lot of studios, but they haven't designed a culture to curate those studios into making killer content. Every fucking thing is in trouble that's being reported by Microsoft. What's that game? The reboot of Perfect Dark, that's in trouble, supposedly. The reboot of Fable, that's in trouble. Fucking Halo was in trouble. Now Coalition is making another game. They're not making Gears, but what about like your flagship stuff? Like everything is up in the air. You have Bethesda making some games, but let's see how those games do. But everything has been catered around, not so much about stellar product consistently. And I don't expect Microsoft to keep laying out goose eggs. I mean, yeah, you do have Bethesda. They have a potential to really put out some great shit. So there you go. But I truly think that the best thing to save Microsoft's future around this Game Pass strategy is you got to do a few things. Number one, again, and let me go back into saying that things that can change this trajectory is if 2023 and 2024 are stellar and they start making the masses believe that, oh, I need to have Game Pass because the top games are in Game Pass. Secondly, the ABK deal, if that goes through, that will change the trajectory because Call of Duty is going in there, and that's a game changer. If the ABK deal goes through, then Game Pass is revived. You're gonna have Overwatch Overwatch, Diablo, and fucking Call of Duty in there on both console and PC. Yeah, the Game Pass is revived then. You have no argument from me then. But if those two things don't happen, if they don't have a stellar, I'm not saying good, I said stellar 2023 and 2024, or that ABK deal doesn't go through, then Xbox is officially at a critical impasse. Now I know we won't know that officially until 2025, but it's good to get in front of these things. And when you're business minded, you get in front of these things years in advance. You come up with your pivot strategies years in advance. Here with Xbox's new strategy, this is something that they need to start working on now. They can't wait till 2025 to do it because then by then it'll be too late. And this is going to take a couple of years to develop. You're not if you don't get the ABK deal and 2023 and 2024 are duds, then you are essentially fucked in so many ways. So you got to have the strategy already in place. Number one, Xbox just needs a new culture. They need a new culture. They need to get past this diversity, the diversity as far in what do you call it? Shit. Diversity in aesthetics type thing. This kumbaya, let's be sweet and tender type thing. They got to get past that. This is hardcore gaming. I'm fucking sorry. This isn't Connect 4. This is hardcore gaming. Hardcore gaming is important to be a catalyst to your platform. PlayStation is showing that all the time. If you want to get out of hardcore gaming, which even you could say the Switch is in hardcore gaming because of the games like Xenosaga and all the other shit that they have, along with the Mario games. But even with the Mario games, even though aesthetically they're not bloods and guts, they're for hardcore gamers is at a challenge level. They're not socially invigorating games. These are games that either are badass in aesthetic and presentation when you talk about PlayStation, or these are games that require unique skill and they add a lot of nuance and shit to sharpen your gamer IQ. These are not games that bring about social, that question the social cataclysm of your spirituality. These are not those games. And those games are not going to cut the mustard. And don't get me wrong. As an African American, I want to see diversity because there's people of all nationalities and of all races and of all creeds that are capable, that have not, who have been overlooked elsewhere. That's fine. But you do that while emphasizing quality product. You don't have to give up your stance on quality product to be diverse. That's the thing that irks me about that. And something I had to deal with my company. I have to talk to a lot of people that weren't used to diversity and things like that. And they thought it was just looking at a crowd of black people or Asians and saying, okay, and come on, all right, we're diverse. No. People have to be screened regardless of the nationality. And yes, there are capable people of other nationalities everywhere. Start screening these people heavily for performance. I don't see it at Microsoft. I see this focus on aesthetic diversity, and I feel like Microsoft does this to forego quality. And you don't have to do that. Like, where is holding people accountable? They don't hold people accountable for shit, except when they do something socially unacceptable. I watch these. Everything is about social presence and social appearance. And I gotta be honest with you, I'm fucking sick of it. I'm sick of it. And I'm not saying that I'm not aiming at one political party over other. Everybody does it. I'm tired of these social battles being brought to my fucking games. I don't need it. Gaming for me is an escape from all that shit. I need Kid and Ryu to battle it out and keep me abreast of the biggest social norms in society. I don't need that. I need Kid and Ryu to kick each other's ass and somebody be on the brink of dying. That's what I need. I'm fucking tired of everything being strained through the prism of social acceptance. We can angle ourselves for diversity and not take the hand off the gear of quality. We can do both. And no, Every game does not, or everything doesn't have to be a social acceptance fight. Like, for instance, the thing that irks me about this whole ABK deal is I hear people saying Sony is losing. They look bad. Sony looks like crybabies, or Sony's presence looks so bad, and it's just socially not acceptable to say the things that they're saying. Hold on. So you're telling me that Microsoft telling you for years that they're going to pioneer cloud gaming, they're going to give you the best effort towards cloud gaming, and that they're doing so because their shit is powered by Azure data centers? For that to be a lie exposed when they told the CMA, our shit is trash. We just been selling that to people to get on board. Are you telling me that Xbox telling you that they're going to come with the best and greatest games ever, and they're going to put them in this special thing called Game Pass that's going to revolutionize gaming? So you got to be on board with us because we're doing something different that's going to benefit you. And everything is Game Pass, Game Pass. Every time you turn on a fucking Xbox show, it's Game Pass, Game Pass, Game. Only for them to now admit that the Game Pass experiment so far is failing and it's only going to represent 15% of their business. And so much more. I can keep going on and on and on. I don't have enough time in the day. I don't have enough time for the rest of the fucking year. Only for them to do this and tell you so much more, that through CMA or court documents that were exposed with Apple versus Tim Sweeney, only for all the stuff they've been telling you to your face to be a lie. That's socially acceptable? Really? Either one of these companies, quote unquote, socially look good when you compare what they've been selling their consumers opposed to the truth behind them. And guess what? Those are companies. At the end of the day, the biggest question and the most important question is, when I put my money on your product, am I getting quality from your product or your service? At the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters. Yes, there are some other things that may raise some eyebrows, that may spark a little bit of controversy, or may spark a little pushback rather, and I get that. But I don't buy a console so the execs can look a certain way. I buy a console because I want that company to put a product or service together that I enjoy. I don't give a fuck what they say elsewhere. For the most part. I don't give a fuck what they say. As long as it's not racist, as long as it ain't talking about people's families. Y'all know how we run here. No racist shit. No talking about people's families or spouses. And no disparaging groups of people, consistently or whatever. I don't give a fuck what you say. This Xbox brass that I'm witnessing is becoming a social experiment in gaming, opposed to an uplifting injection of quality in gaming. And I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. I'm 45 fucking years old. I don't need nobody to make me socially conscious. I do that shit for my kids. And I gotta tell them to shut the fuck up. Sometimes. I'm a great dad. Stop hear that shit. I want a great game. If you're doing things on the periphery to be socially active, I don't have a problem with that either. I don't care. But I don't want the crux of what you're selling me to be some social experiment. How was my presence? And I'm talking so nice and got my limbo shirt. Fuck all that, man. Like fucking games. If you present the games, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Then you can do all that other shit and you won't hear my mouth. But if you got the games, I don't care what presents you bring on stage. I don't care where you donated money. I don't care about how many trees you planted. What cause you fought for. I don't give a fuck. The purpose that I'm paying you is for you to give me a great game or a great service. Kill all that other shit. Too many of you that defend what's been going on are defending a social experiment. And you're not getting any games. You're not getting great experiences. Now, my cloud gaming people, they're different. They've been exposed to something different, and Xbox for them is a higher echelon opposed to what they're different. I gotta have a different conversation with them. But you guys that are focused mainly that are the mainstream gamers, as far as like focusing on hardware and all this other stuff, and have been falling for this okie doke for Lord knows how long. There just has to be a culture change. Like heads should be fucking rolling. That Halo is as trash as far as acceptance is. This is Xbox flagship. Couldn't imagine. Not just one, but two of PlayStation's flagship titles, Nintendo's flagship titles, doing this horribly, and no one's to account for it. I mean, I get it. Bonnie Ross is gone, but I don't think Bonnie Ross solely is the problem. It was the whole culture. People have to be accountable. Like, and I think the only person from a leadership perspective that has to be questioned as far as, what are you doing? Is the motherfucker behind the culture. Phil Spencer. This is his culture. Like people were calling for Shannon Loftus to not be doing what she's doing for so long. And it took Shannon Loftus to call somebody fat on Twitter for her to finally be let go. You see, y'all, a lot of y'all getting revved up. Oh, here goes MM2K with his dude bro mannerism and social things. I did a whole podcast with my homegirl, Dark Sakura, and I talked about the toxic shit that was part of the dude bro era. I'm fully conscious of that, but I'm not one that believes that you solve a problem that's at one complete end of the pendulum by swinging to the other end of the pendulum. I think there has to be a balance. With all the havoc that Shannon Loftus caused last generation, she did not get let go until she called somebody fat. That's socially not, on Twitter, that's socially not acceptable. It ain't about games. It ain't about producing good games. It ain't about curating good games. It's about calling someone fat on Twitter. That's what gets you canned at Microsoft. I came in this game, folks, capping for Microsoft hard. This is not me jumping on the bandwagon. And I'm not doing it just because I'm upset at Microsoft. So therefore, I feel like I got to go to PlayStation. No, as Microsoft declined, PlayStation picked it up. I never was enthralled by their games until I picked up God of War. Then I picked up Last of Us, and then the rest was just history. And then I started to see that the culture within PlayStation was changing for the better, opposed to, for as far as me as a consumer, opposed to the culture at Xbox changing for the worse. PlayStation was making better games. Xbox was becoming too socially infused with everything, opposed to creating great games. I want nothing to do with that shit. I don't give a fuck what they're saying that makes them look this way or that way. I know that when I pick up a PlayStation game, I'm likely going to enjoy it. I don't say about an Xbox game. That's what matters. You want me to drop my PlayStation because Jim Ryan said something, and I'm not saying he shouldn't be criticized. He should be criticized for not being honest. He should. But you want me to drop my PlayStation because Jim Ryan wasn't honest. Spencer hasn't been honest, but at least Jim Ryan is giving me good experiences as a consumer. You consumer first. You're not employed by PlayStation or Xbox. You don't have, most of y'all don't have any stock in them. Stop with this flag waving, with this nonsensical, superficial shit. They just don't look too good. Oh, fuck. The games to look too good. The good games. I hear a bunch of adults talk about this, the social part of this. And it makes my eyes roll in the back of my head. And a lot of people are probably hearing this and they're like, well, you're an adult MM2K. You're sitting there yelling at the top of your lungs over video games. Now, I'm yelling at the top of my lungs over conduct. The fact that Xbox is not bringing good games for another year, hasn't brought them for another year, that's not, okay, fuck it. I just go to PlayStation, or I go to PC, I go somewhere else. That's not the problem. That's an easy decision for me as a consumer. The problem is those trying to move the goalposts on what the focus should be. We are consumers and gamers first. First and foremost, we need great product. Now, granted, I get it. I talked about this again with Dark Sakura. We talked about the culture that the Dubroad era caused and this, that, and there's still some horrible things happening online, and people in the diversity in gaming has to be represented. I'm not against that. That's part of it as well. But it starts, any of this, I don't care if you're selling pretzels covered in doo-doo. Anything that you sell to consumers, the item or the service has to have quality to it first and foremost. Xbox, their lineup, subpar. Game Pass appeals to hardcore gamers to a certain degree, and now they've had to render it that it's only going to represent 15% of their business. xCloud, even though they're what they make up for in the accessibility via the Azure servers, they lose in the raw product. It's shitty. think three things off the top of my head, and we're going to move on. Three things that Microsoft needs to do is, first and foremost, they need to change the culture. They need a better cloud infrastructure. I think they should just go buy Shadow. Just dump this whole Xbox. You know what I'm saying? Buy Shadow, and try to get it to where your Windows games are the games that are available in the cloud. And then rope in the Microsoft product, the 365 products or whatever they're called, in with Shadow. I think that'll be successful. And then you need to reconnect with the hardcore. You can reconnect with the hardcore without all the toxicity. But you gotta have there's no point. Why do you fucking have the world's most powerful console if you can't curate and help inspire hardcore games? That's the point. Nobody wants the world's most powerful console for fizzle popper because it's socially acceptable. Shout out to my bro Squid in the chat. Let's get to some of these comments and then we're going to move on. This is a problem. Cold Blood Sensei says, it probably fell big time because I never heard about it. Oh, he's talking about the Sega channel. Oh, it didn't. I mean, it was popular at first. Cold Blood. I think that was way before your time, though, bro. That was like something in the early 90s. To the Genesis. Yeah, they did launch it too late in the Genesis life cycle. Let's see here. Cold Blood says, day-and-day Game Pass is a death sentence. Just look at Outriders, Square Enix. Yeah, that's a great example. Said it underperformed for a reason. Even the studio director pointed at Game Pass. That is true. And I think what happened there, and I made a video about this, but again, people wanted to laugh. And well, first and foremost, people laughed at the prospect that this was done, that the whole deal was done to try to stumble Stadia. And I think the way that it was done so haphazard, it became something that was lucrative for the publisher, but it wasn't lucrative for the developer. That's another thing. People are going to start speaking up. If you have a situation where Game Pass out of nowhere just puts a game that you develop for, then you lose out on a whole bunch of royalties because your royalties are based on sales. So then the publisher, Square Enix, got paid a lot of money up front for the game, but you don't have a chance to recoup on any of that money because it's not based off of sales. To me, that's fucking common sense. And why people don't understand that, the Game Pass is great for everybody. Every situation, there are some that it is great for, there are others that it's not great for. And that was a situation where it wasn't great for. It's common sense. He says, but I blame Booty and the snake oil salesman Spencer for everything that's happened. I blame Phil Spencer. I don't even blame Matt Booty. I mean, Phil Spencer sets the culture. That's why Mike Ybarra had to get the fuck out of there. This is all Phil Spencer. This is all Phil Spencer trying to be, trying to make social acceptability and camaraderie the selling point for Xbox. He's trying to make social acceptability, camaraderie, and sale or discounts. The Xbox product. It's got to be about great. It's got to be about great games first. It's always got to be about great games first, and then you stack the rest from there. So, it's just me, man. And again, my issue isn't Xbox not creating great content. It was like, fuck it, I just won't play their console. My problem is watching these grown ass adults defend the richest company in this thing not creating great product. How many more years do we give them? I'm not giving them no more years. They have to produce in 2023 and 2024. If they don't produce in 2023 and 2024, and they don't get that, if they don't produce in 2023 and 2024, the only saving grace that they have is that ABK deal. If they can buy of the most anticipated game out there, then okay, then they have an opportunity to have a etched in stone bright future. Not really will depend upon the sales of Call of Duty after that, but I think it'll be safe. Call of Duty is just too desired. But if this ABK deal doesn't come through, and 2023 and 2024 are mediocre, 2023 and 2024 have to be stellar. If 2023 and 2024 are mediocre, like I said, Starfield, it starts off with Starfield. Starfield's going to be at the beginning of the year. Starfield has to be like a 93 or higher. I would say an 89 to 93 is respectable. An 89 to a 93 is respectable. Anything above a 93 is stellar. And that'll, you know what I mean? That'll springboard them. But if it's below an 89, you can fucking forget it. Like even an 88. Like they got to get that recognition. They have to get the collective recognition. But then what also has to happen too is that, all right, even if it gets an 88, there has to be a shitload of sales. Like Starfield has to fucking, it has to sell like 15 million. It's got to be doing what Call of Duty is doing. Not Call of Duty. It's got to be doing what God of War is doing, at the least. Yeah. So just imagine how much AAA games they could be doing with $68 billion. My fucking God. Yeah, let's do the math. It's 500 million. That's 500 million. Jesus Christ. 68 divided by 0.5. That's 136 games. That's 136 AAA games. That's 136 AAA games. That's 68 billion. Because it's, again, 500 million to make and market these AAA games now. At least, I would say at the most, it's about 500 million. You could have Microsoft going back to the drawing board and creating games that's 136 games, right? AAA games. You're doing this over one franchise, which, don't get me wrong, that one franchise is going to sell very well. Okay, you're doing this for 3 franchises. You're doing this for, and then King would be involved in the sale too. So that 68 billion would include the mobile aspect of it, which is important. But even if you took half of that, took 30 billion and invested in AAA games, and just used the other 30 billion to buy King off Activision, can't beat that. Yeah, I agree with you. Or even every other month. but every other month. Cold blood. They were to buy, if they were to produce one every other month, I think it would be a good thing. But it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. So, yeah, my synopsis is that, again, Xbox is approaching a critical impasse where they're not there yet. And again, I'm not saying that Xbox is failing. No, I'm not saying they're failing. Xbox is making more money than they ever have, but that's not saying a lot because of how abysmal last generation was, and the fact that they were just throwing away money. Even though the product was a lot better, they were throwing away money during the Xbox 360 in the OG Xbox era. That's because their main focus wasn't to make money off of gaming; it was to keep PlayStation from taking over the living room. But now that this has to be a revenue building sector, they're making more money than they ever have. So again, Xbox isn't in trouble now. But what can't be sugarcoated is that if Xbox continues on this path and they don't close the ABK deal and 2023 and 2024 aren't stellar, if both of those things happen, their long-term trajectory is in trouble. And don't think that, they're going to be in cloud gaming. Don't think that PlayStation and all these other companies aren't going to rev up their cloud gaming services as well. Because trust me, they are. Hold on one second. So if they can't do one or the other, then they're at an impasse. So to ensure that they don't get into that critically bad area, I just think there's some things because you can tell that Microsoft's a little deflated. They're a little deflated for 2022, and you see that they're just waiting it out for 2023. They're waiting to see how Starfield does and all of this stuff. And I feel like what Microsoft should do, and not just wait and see how this plays out, what Microsoft should do, and again, they're a Fortune 500 company. I don't feel that they're just going to wait it out. But I hope what they're looking to do is they realize they need a new culture. They need to start becoming accountable for failures. Like heads have to roll immediately. And the shit just don't linger. Like there has to be a culture of quality. And that translates over to the cloud infrastructure. I don't, it's just, even though the Azure is a given. Xbox's cloud service being powered just by sitting in the Azure data centers, even if it's not an Azure server blade, means a lot. Because of its placement. xCloud should be kicking ass everywhere. Not just with Fortnite. It should be kicking ass everywhere. That service should be untouchable. They need a better infrastructure. And lastly, again, they got to reconnect to the hardcore. They can do so again without entertaining some of the toxicity concerns they've had from back in the 360 days. Because I'm going to tell you this, and then we're moving on and we're going to start wrapping up. If they do not address these issues and they fail to have a stellar 2023 and 2024 and the ABK deal doesn't go through, I would think that Phil Spencer's job is in jeopardy. I know that's going to irk some people. Oh my God. Oh my God. No, not Phil, stop it. This is blasphemous. No. If all of those things don't happen, I would think Phil Spencer's job is in jeopardy. Xbox is making too much money for them to just say, well, we're done with it. There's too much potential there has been shown. But the leadership from Phil Spencer would seriously have to be questioned. The culture that he's created would have to be questioned. And it would have to be a change. So, all right. Next up, let's talk about God of War 50 million. So this is from Destructoid. It says God of War continues dominating, sells more than 5 million copies. That's awesome. I am unstoppable, boy, it reads. It says, can God of War be stopped in addition to being Sony's fastest selling PlayStation 4 exclusive and the best selling game of... Oh, holy shit, hold on. This is an old article. This is the original God of War. All right, we need God of War Ragnarok 5.1 million. All right, here we go. Who am I going to get this from? I guess I'll get it from WCCF Tech. Okay. God of War Ragnarok sales surpassed 5.1 million worldwide, fastest selling first party launch game in PlayStation history. See this? You see what I'm saying? This is the type of success that Xbox needs to see, where they keep breaking their own fucking records. They're setting they're trend setters, and they're breaking their own records. God of War Ragnarok has surpassed 5.1 million globally. Sony has just announced, as reported last week, box launch sales of the sequel already managed to beat those of Modern Warfare 2. That's insane. Elden Ring and Pokemon in the UK, but is now reported by Sony. God of War Ragnarok has sold to customers more than... So this is not what they've sold to the stores. This is what is in customers' hands, which is even more impressive. Sold 5 million copies since its launch on November 9th. This is an impressive number that was announced via the PlayStation Twitter account. This is insane. This is what Xbox needs. Xbox needs this type of productivity. And there's no excuse for it no more that Game Pass is available. You can't say, well, it's on Game Pass and everybody has Game Pass. No, everybody doesn't have Game Pass. Game Pass is only going to result in 15% of your revenue at best. So you better start having record sales like this, regardless of Game Pass or not. And everybody, again, you have 70 million, and you have a 70 million install base when it comes to Xbox One and the Xbox Series. 70 million estimated, a 70 million install base. Only not even half of that install base has Game Pass. You're going to have to do something. And I'm thinking your AAA games, they're going to have to do something to where like the AAA games don't come day and date. The only AAA game that I would put in there day and date are the games as a service games. Like I would put Halo in there day and date. Or maybe not. Here's how I would phrase it. Here's what Xbox should probably do. Here's how I would phrase it to where you don't. I would say, what I would do is I would make a la carte purchases available a month early, quote unquote, right? You're making a la carte purchases available a month early. That's the beta. You can beta test Halo Infinite or whatever these games are, the AAA, all the AAA games. You can beta test them, start beta testing them 3 months early. And then they have worldwide release on Game Pass. That would be smart for Xbox. Maybe they should do, and then that gives them some leg room if the game releases shitty, as they normally do, the first 3 months. It lets them know what needs to be done for their worldwide release. That's what Xbox should probably do. And I would definitely do that with all their games. That would be a successful venture. See, again, I don't hate it. I just want them to do better. I'm not hating on Xbox and just praising and licking PlayStation from the backside. I want Xbox to do better. I think a good strategy would be for the first month or 3 months, if you have an Xbox, you get to play, or if you have Xbox Live on PC, if you buy the game a la carte, you get access to it 3 months early. And we'll consider it a beta. And then after that 3 months, it's available everywhere. If it's a game that's going to be available on Switch or PlayStation, it's just available everywhere. But you have to buy the game. That, I think, is a winning proposal for Xbox. It gives people options, but it also spurs a la carte purchasing, which is what you need. They definitely need it. And it allows them to not appear to backtrack too much from their Game Pass, their Game Pass promise. Yeah, for the official worldwide launch, it's still going to launch in Game Pass day and date, but for the quote-unquote beta, you can play it early if you buy it, and you'll get it like 3 months early. Or 2 months early. I wouldn't do a month, because a month probably, I don't know, maybe it would. Maybe a month would be good enough. I would start off with 3 months and see how, and work your way back. See how it goes. So, yeah, man. God of War selling 5.1 million. And then y'all saw where I read the wrong article. Where was it at? I read the Destructoid article. It was wrong. So they're breaking their own records. This is what they need to see. This is not only the God of War Ragnarok set a new franchise record, but the game is now officially also the fastest selling first party PlayStation. This is what they need. And they gotta shake it up a little bit. All right. Now, last but not least, Steam concurrent players hits a new all-time high with 31 million users. Steam has more active gamers than ever. Steam submits a new record for concurrent players just over a month after reaching its new 30 million high. The latest record saw 31 million users on Steam, which is another big achievement for Valve this year, courtesy of DSOG. Besides Steam's popularity among PC gamers, there are reasons that contribute to this new record, including the launch of Warzone 2.0, as well as the current running Steam Autumn Sale, which corresponds with Black Friday. As you may already know, the concurrent players on Steam also count those who are surfing the page stores, checking out games, and purchasing stuff. Regarding the fact that a sale is currently running, more people are obviously surfing. Oh, okay. So this is a concurrent usership of Steam, not necessarily of playing games. But hey, if you're looking at shit, that's the more potential that you're going to buy stuff. So great to see that. And PC gaming is growing. We did an article last week, I believe it was, where PC gaming is growing in Japan. So PC gaming is growing. I know my console heads like Cold Blood Sensei hate PC gaming, but no Cold Blood pays on PC as well. All right, y'all, that is a show. I know we spent most of our 2 hours on Xbox, but it just had to be said. I think we're getting out of focus, on the mainstream level as far as what Xbox needs to do to keep up. For my cloud gamers, it's a different conversation. And I get it. I can understand the cloud people, because the cloud gamers, they're just looking for a library. And Xbox kind of has like the best library to the cloud gamer, even if the cloud experience isn't always the best. So I get the cloud gamers. There are some things on that realm too that we got to be a little bit more honest about. But for the mainstream gamers, there's no excuse. No excuse. Stop trying to forego quality games for this social experiment that Xbox is doing. I'm sick of it. All right, with that said, that's it from your boy. I appreciate everybody for coming through as usual. This will be rebroadcast on Wednesday. So always remember, if you don't catch this live on Monday, or you rather watch YouTube without all the commercials, go check it out over there on YouTube on Wednesdays. With that said, y'all have a wonderful gaming day. I appreciate all of y'all. And until next time, peace. Oh yeah, God of War stream tomorrow. I think we're going to be doing it around noon, so pay attention to that. All right, peace.